Hey Janelle, let's take a look at your week 4 assignment 1 drawing. One thing I think about this drawing in particular is that the line work that's in place is very heavy. There's a lot of detail in the suit, just a lot of line work. Even say kind of the forearm right here, there's kind of a line, a small shape, a diagonal line, another small shape, yada yada yada. So there's just a lot of detail going on in here. I think the problem for me becomes that there's so much line work, and the outline that you're putting in is very, very thick, that it's starting to push out all the color and the value. It's very difficult to discern value changes here, and it's difficult to kind of see any type of darker, lighter color transitions of any sort, maybe even kind of textural stuff. So I think you might have to think about, easing up on the line work if it's going to be this intensive. I think if you worked with this in pencil initially, and didn't even put any line work in, and just kind of worked with the values of the suit and the coloring first, and then kind of at the very end laid in the line work that you needed, it might have worked a little bit clearer, because it just is a lot, you know what I mean? So I think that's maybe one thing that's obscuring things. I think the other thing is you're going in kind of right away with with color here, and I think you could actually start to try and go in just with some value at first. Kind of start off just straight up with just grays. Maybe darker grays for the chest plate, maybe some darker grays here, and here for some of the shadow tones, maybe here and here for some of the shadow tones, and being able to kind of lay in a good basic kind of light dark situation for the entire suit and the entire figure, and then going in very quickly with some color, and most of the time, although Rainey's had an issue with it, most of the time the value is going to show through when you put the color on top of it. Sometimes if you work with really dark colors it doesn't, but most of the time it does. So I feel like maybe jumping in to the color a little bit too fast, and try to focus more on just kind of the value stuff before you do that. It does end up looking nice though. I think that the figure is very iconic. You've got some great little color touches like the gold visor. Again, a lot of detail, which I say in the beginning as kind of a negative, but it is really a positive because of all the interesting things that you're able to look at. You're dealing with kind of the background nicely. There's a good sense of movement to it as well. But just try it. Hopefully the next assignment you'll have something that has a little bit more space. You'll be able to work a little larger, and you'll be able to kind of minimize the line work on it. The other thing is you didn't give us a written component. There are questions at the guidelines right underneath the example that we want you to answer. And for me, at least, it really helps to figure out where you are and how you are with the process. And I think that it helps to give you some insight into how you were working, how maybe you should be working, and maybe what is good and what is bad about this particular way of drawing. Otherwise, just keep it up, and look forward to seeing what you have for the next assignment.